Hey y'all, so today I'm going to show you how to make this super easy cover for your composition notebooks. Just another thing to add to your back to school supplies, or if you like to keep these notebooks like I do to make all for my crafts and keep everything organized, I'll show you how I create this cute little cover. So you're going to use some yarn, a yarn needle, and a button if you want. That's just going to help to keep the clasp closed. I used an 8mm crochet hook, and I used the Charisma yarn that you can get from like Joann's Fabric or Michael's, any 5 bulk yarn. So let's go ahead and start by making ourselves a slip knot and placing that over the crochet hook. Now this project is really simple. I will put the instructions on how I created mine over on my blog, so if you wanted some written instructions, but I'll show you everything that I did in this video here. So you're going to go ahead and make yourself a foundation chain, and now the foundation chain can vary. My instructions are just going to be so that it can cover the composition notebook, but if you wanted to create a cover for any type of book, then you'll just need to measure your book and then create your foundation chain so that it's wide enough to fit that. Okay, so go ahead and make yourself a foundation chain. And then once you have your foundation chain created, you're going to create double crochet stitches. So I counted over, and into that third stitch, I'm going to create my first double crochet stitch. So you're just going to yarn over, insert your crochet hook into the stitch, pull up a loop. You're going to pull through the first 2, yarn over, and pull through the next 2. I'll show you again how to do the double crochet stitch. So just yarn over, find your next stitch in the row, insert your crochet hook. Then you're going to pull through. You should have 3 loops on your crochet hook, yarn over. You're going to pull through the first 2. You're going to yarn over, putting the yarn behind the crochet hook, pulling through the bottom 2. And that's how you create a double crochet stitch. I'll show you a couple more times on camera, and then I'll let you get to work, and then we'll come back together when you get to the end of the row. So there, this is for my newbies. If you're not familiar with crocheting or don't know how to do a double crochet stitch, I'll just show you a few times on here. If you already know how to do it, then just keep working until you get to the last stitch in the row, and then I'll show you what I did to go to the next row. Yarn over, insert the crochet hook, and then pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. So it looks fast. Always slow it down if you don't get it, and I'll also link in the video how to do a double crochet stitch if you didn't catch on here. Okay, so if you want to pause the video, keep working. Okay, so at the end you want to make sure that you get a double crochet stitch there at the end. And here is a good time to go ahead and count your stitches to make sure you have however many stitches you have, and you want to keep that same number throughout your entire project. Okay, so chain 3 and then turn your work. Now what we're going to do is we're going to work into the back loops only. So I'm going to try to show you here on camera. The back loop, if you turn your project kind of to the side, you'll see a V-stitch. We're going to pick up the back loop only, because that's going to allow us to create a rib. So we're going to skip that first stitch and into that next one, right there into the back loop. And I'll show you again. So yarn over, turn to the side there, right there. That's your back loop. And I'll show you that a few times so that you can catch on to see what the back loop looks like. This is how you create a rib stitch. Right there, okay? And you're going to continue doing, and if you I'm just showing you here, if you look at your stitch from the front, there's a hole. If you turn it to the side, you'll see 2 loops. You're going to go into the back loop. Okay? And just continue working. See the rib there that we're trying to create? It's just going to give the cover a little bit of dimension. If you don't want to do that, you can go straight through the loop and then it will just be flat. It's up to you how you want to do it. You should have the same number of stitches in this row as you did in your first row. Now in this very last one here, I just go ahead and find a space and stick my crochet hook. So it's not necessary that I get in the back loop. I just want to make sure that I get a stitch into that turning chain. And you want to just stay consistent, okay? All right, and this is what it should be looking like from row to row. And I'm just make sure you have the same number of stitches in both rows, okay? So you're going to chain 3 and then turn your work. Okay. And I'll show you again a few more times how I started working on row 3, and then you can pause your video and then come back on camera with me in a little bit and I'll show you how I changed the yarn color. And again, I use composition notebooks for so many things, but especially with my crochet projects, I like to keep everything in one place. And so I thought these covers would be super cute to just cover up my composition notebooks. So this is what it should be looking like. We're not finished. I just want to give you a little check back in to see where we are. So let's go ahead and change our yarn so we can get a stripe. So just find the new yarn that you're going to be using, place that on the crochet hook and just pull through. Simple. And then just continue to crochet. So you're going to go ahead and do continue doing your chain of 3. So chain 2 there, turn your work, and then you're going to continue working. Now let me just say something really quickly. I pull my yarn across with me. So that way when I get to the other side, I don't have to reattach my yarn. So basically what that means is I just lay the yarn along the top of my crochet fabric as I'm working. And I'll try to show you it here, that I'm just laying the yarn across. So you see the pink string and the brown, I'm just pulling it across with me. That makes it easier, so when I'm doing my stripe, I'm gonna go right back to the original color. I don't have to cut or tie. If you don't want to do this, that's fine. Just cut the pink string and then reattach it to the other side. But see, since I've carried it across with me, I'm able to just pick up that pink string and then pink yarn and just continue doing my double crochet stitches. So I chain 3, I'm turning my work, and I'm back to that original color, and I'm going to start working in the back loops only. So I hope that made sense there. I just changed the yarn color, and then I continue to work in the back loop only using the pink yarn once I did a stripe. So just continue working, and then the next time I come back on camera here, we're going to start constructing the actual book cover. Alright, so this is what it should be looking like. You see the ribbing, it's really easy to see now that you've gotten a few rows done. Go ahead and fasten off your work once you get to the desired length that you need. And see, that's what it looks like. So we do have that stripe. I just wanted to do that to add a little bit of color. If you don't want to do a stripe, you do not have to do a stripe, okay guys? So here's the composition notebook. I'm sure you all have seen these. They sell these everywhere here where I'm at. They usually run for like 50 cents to $1 at the Dollar Tree. And basically what we're going to do is we're going to fold over about four rows in. We're going to fold over and we're going to create kind of like a, I guess it's kind of like a lip area. And I'm just going to secure that down with my stitch markers. And if you don't have stitch markers, you can use yarn, paper clips, anything that's just going to allow you to leave that lip or that, I don't know if that's the right word for it, but to keep everything secure until you're able to sew everything down. So that's what it will look like once you get it kind of sewn down. And you want it to stretch, so you don't want to make your swatch too wide. You want it to have stretch so that it's kind of taut on your book. So what I'm doing now is I'm going to do a small little swatch to create the closure area. So I'll show you how I did that here. I'm just doing a chain stitch. I'm going to turn my work and then do, once I get the desired size, I'll turn my work and then do another row. So you see here, I'm just doing a chain and I'm trying to make sure that it fits so that it can create a closure. Okay, so I did 2 rows of single crochet stitches. Once I have it completed, I'm going to tie that off, and that's what that's going to look like. So I'll attach that to the inside cover so it kind of closes. Can you see? Hey. So at this point, it's time to sew everything together. So we have all of our components. You'll have the button there. You want to sew that too. This part does not take a lot of time. I do not sew on camera. However, I'll just kind of get you started. So you'll use your the same yarn that you use to create the project. Use a large eye yarn needle, and you're just going to sew along the bottom of your book closure lip, and you're going to do the top, and you're going to do that for the front and the back. So you'll have to sew 4 times. Very simple, just a whip stitch around, going through both loops. And like again, you'll just, again, I say you'll do that at the top, the bottom, and then the back cover as well. Okay. So once you have that sewn, you'll have attached your button, and you'll have also attached your little strap. You see where I attached it there. Simple, simple. And then what I do to make sure that the book cover stays snug, this is my extra step. If you don't want to do that, you don't have to. It just makes it everything stay together. I take a piece of string and I measure it 2 times the width of the book, the length of the book, and I'm going to tie it to the top and the bottom. That's going to allow everything to stay snug, and it also creates a little bookmark or book placement. So you see how I have that here? That's just keeping the back cover anchored to the composition notebook. Super simple step. You don't have to do it. This is just what I did to just make sure that the cover stays where I want it to stay on the book. I don't want it to fall off. And I just did the string 2 times the length. That way I have a piece that I can use as like a bookmark. So as you can see there, it's a little bit longer, and I can just move that along and know exactly where I am, because again, I use this book for my patterns. So if you want to use that back area to store things, you could. And then you can use the front area to store your pins, and it closes up. So that is it, you all. If you have any questions, please head over to my blog. I'll put all the detailed instructions on how I created that there, and I will see you all in my next video. Thanks so much for watching. Bye.